Many strange, outdated professions we're diving into today in our list of the 15 most useless jobs in history.
Before alarm clocks, people hired someone to wake them up in the morning. These human alarm clocks would roam the streets, tapping on windows with sticks, pebbles, or even pea shooters.
Let's be honest, nobody dreams of growing up to wipe someone else's, well, But in medieval England, that was a reality for the groom of the stool. This wasn't just any cleaning job, it was a highly coveted position within the royal court.
The groom of the stool was responsible for, assisting the monarch in all matters related to the toilet. We're talking everything from fetching the chamber pot to, yes, wiping the royal backside.
But here's the kicker. This wasn't seen as a degrading task. In fact, it was considered a huge honor to be so close to the king. Enter the rat catcher, a brave soul who faced down disease-carrying rodents armed with nothing more than traps, clubs, and a whole lot of courage.
Imagine, the year is 1348, the Black Death is ravaging Europe. Rats, those furry harbingers of doom, are everywhere, spreading the plague with every bite.
These fearless individuals were tasked with ridding towns and cities of their rodent infestations. It was a dirty, dangerous job, fraught with the very real risk of contracting the plague. Chapter 4. Lecter in a Cigarette Factory. The original podcast, imagine this. You're working in a noisy, bustling cigarette factory, the air thick with the smell of tobacco. But then, a voice cuts through the monotony. It's the factory lector, here to entertain you with tales of adventure, romance, and political intrigue. The resurrectionist. These were the body snatchers, grave robbers who made a living by exhuming freshly buried corpses and selling them to medical schools. It was a gruesome business, shrouded in secrecy and fueled by the macabre. It was a risky business, both legally and ethically. The public, understandably, was horrified. But the resurrectionists played a vital, if unsettling, role in the advancement of medical science. Chapter 6. Whipping Boy, taking one for the team, literally. Ever get in trouble for something you didn't do? Imagine someone else getting whipped in your place. That was the reality for the whipping boy, a servant punished for a royal child's misbehavior.
In some parts of England and Wales, it was believed that a dying person could transfer their sins to a piece of bread. This bread would then be fed to the sin-eater, who would consume it, taking on the sins of the deceased.
It was a ritual steeped in fear and desperation.
It's a fascinating glimpse into the power of belief, and the lengths people would go to find solace in the face of death.
Before modern orthopedics, broken bones meant calling the bone setter. These were the original bone doctors, using brute strength and herbal remedies. Imagine falling from a horse, your leg twisted unnaturally. Enter the bone setter, hands like iron. He examines, mutters a prayer, and then, without x-rays or anesthesia, bone setting was an art and a gruesome performance. Town crier, the original newsfeed and alarm clock. Before Twitter, before newspapers, there was the town crier. This walking, talking news aggregator was the lifeblood of communication. Imagine this. You're enjoying breakfast when a booming voice shatters the calm. It's the town crier, bellowing the latest news and gossip. Armed with a powerful voice, a bell, and a scroll, the town crier was the original newsfeed. Food taster, dining dangerously. Ensuring a ruler's meal wasn't their last was a full-time job. Enter the food taster, whose life depended on their stomach. Your job is simple. Eat the king's food and pray you live. Poisoning was a constant threat, and the food taster was the first line of defense. Pea collector, the golden age of urine. This one might make you wrinkle your nose, but in ancient Rome, urine was a hot commodity. Yes, you heard that right. Urine wasn't just waste, it was a valuable resource used for everything from laundry detergent to teeth whitener. And someone had to collect it. Enter the pea collector. Imagine yourself strolling through the streets of ancient Rome, but instead of admiring the architecture, you're on the lookout for, well, puddles of pea, public urinals, chamber pots, you name it. The pea collector sought it out, collecting gallons of the golden liquid for various uses. So next time you use the bathroom, take a moment to appreciate how far we've come in waste management. Ice cutter, the OG refrigerators. Before refrigerators became a household staple, keeping things cold was a chilly business, literally. Enter the ice cutter, a hardy soul who braved frigid temperatures and treacherous conditions to harvest ice from frozen lakes and rivers. Imagine yourself in the dead of winter, standing on a frozen lake. The air bites at your skin, and the only sound is the eerie groan of the ice. Armed with saws and picks, you chip away at the frozen surface, harvesting blocks of ice that will keep food fresh and drinks cold for months to come. It was backbreaking work, fraught with danger. Switchboard operator, the voices behind the wires. Before smartphones and instant communication, making a phone call was an intricate dance of wires and plugs, all orchestrated by the nimble fingers of the switchboard operator. These women, and they were almost always women, were the unsung heroes of communication, connecting calls and keeping the lines of communication buzzing. Imagine yourself seated at a massive wooden panel, a dizzying array of cords and sockets before you. Each light represents a call, a voice waiting to be connected. With lightning-fast reflexes and a keen memory for numbers, you plug and unplug cords, connecting people across cities, countries, and even continents. So next time you pick up your smartphone, take a moment to appreciate the switchboard operators who paved the way for our modern communication networks. Milkmen, the original delivery heroes. Before supermarkets and online grocery delivery, there was the milkman, a beloved figure who brought fresh milk, dairy products, and sometimes even a friendly smile to your doorstep. Imagine this. It's the crack of dawn, and the streets are still quiet, but a familiar figure is already making his rounds. The milkman, with his cheerful demeanor and clinking glass bottles, is a welcome sight, delivering fresh milk and other essentials to families in the neighborhood. It was a job that required an early start, a strong back, and a knack for navigating narrow streets and grumpy dogs. But the milkman was more than just a delivery person. They were a trusted member of the community. The milkman was a symbol of simpler times, when life moved at a slower pace, and personal connections were everything. Pin setter bowling before automation. Before automatic pin setters, resetting pins was a manual job, often done by teenagers. Imagine being a teenager in the 1950s working as a pin setter at the local bowling alley, the air thick with lane oil and stale beer and the clatter of bowling balls. Your job was simple but demanding, resetting pins by hand after each frame. Next time you bowl a strike, appreciate the pin setters of the past. Outro. So, which job would you choose? While these jobs might seem silly now, they were once essential. They remind us just how far we've come and how creative humanity can be when solving problems. Which job would you want to try? Or better yet, which one would you avoid at all costs? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun history dives.